tonight's messing around in the shop is lubricated by 9 Lives Farmhouse Ale from Barnhammer Brewing. No tasting notes on it, but it's got basically the same thing as you'd expect in any other beer. A little bit of oats. It is a lot lighter than I expected, though. Barnhammer claims to be celebrating 9 years of survival, hence the cat theme, I guess. Well, that's interesting. It's a bit hoppier than I expected, but it's kind of a nice summery beer. So today I'm continuing the theme of stuff that I discovered when I was cleaning up that I'd forgotten I had. This is a couple of early electric screwdrivers. They're both Black&Decker branded and both have completely dead batteries. This one here weighs a little bit more. They look like they take the same charging. The charging leads just clamp on there when you put them into their dock. But even though the docks look like they're compatible, this one takes 3.6 volts and this one takes 2.4 volts. So even within the same brand, they can't maintain compatibility from one model to the other. And then this is a charging base, which doesn't fit either of them, actually. So yeah, that's a third incompatibility within the same brand. And I don't remember which one was the first one that I got or how I ended up with all this incompatibility, but I'm going to take these guys apart. I'm going to guess that all they have in the handle of them is batteries, a motor, and a reversing switch and nothing else, and the charging schmarts is in here. So let's start with the most lightweight, or the more lightweight of them. Even though it's not completely without gravity, it is lighter. There's one screw in the back of the handle, and I don't think anything else. So is that all it takes to take it apart? Oh wow, look at that. No, there's a couple of roll pins through here that I'll have to punch out somehow. Not really equipped for that heavy duty stuff. Let me just see what I can find. There. Finishing nail makes a pretty good improvised punch. And I'm not sure how far this is going to come apart when I do this. I'm expecting the mechanical bits to disintegrate in my hand, but we shall see. Oh no, well, yeah. See, there's a gear fell out of that Planetary gear set in there. That should just drop back in there. And those 3 gears, the planet gears on that, rotate around this ring gear here and mesh together. Oh, come on, get in there. There you go. And mesh together with this sun gear in the middle here, which is coming, I'm guessing, off the motor. That just goes right up in the middle of there and meshes with all 3 of those guys. And when it rotates, can I do this? When it rotates, it moves the 3 planet gears around, and they are joined together by a carrier underneath there. I think you can see that kind of triangular thing. And it is turning at a much reduced speed with a much higher torque. And that proceeds further through into the gearing. But we're not here to talk about mechanical stuff. We're here to look at the electronics. So in here we have some very, very crusty batteries. And a reversing switch, which just flips the polarity between batteries and the motor. Oh, and it's not even soldered on, just the motor lugs are stuck into the switch body, and it just rotates which one is connected to where. So the motor tabs sit at the top, and it either rotates positive to one and negative to the other, or flips that way. Super simple. And in here we have a single diode coming from the charging pins out here to one side of the battery, and the other charging pin just goes straight to the battery. And the only information on the battery is this is hazardous, use replacement of identical battery only, and do not incinerate, but it doesn't say what kind of a battery it is. But given that this thing is 2.4 volts DC, and given the age of it, I'm going to guess that those were at one point NiCads. I could probably replace them with nickel metal hydrides, but I don't really want to at this point. Back to this little mechanical bit for a minute here. I am going to dig a little bit deeper just because there's not much else going on to look at in here really. So we'll pop these planet gears out, and there is their carrier below them. Come in, get out. I can probably lift it out anyways. Will you come out? Yes. So that planet carrier has another sun gear on the bottom of it, which goes into this set of planet gears down here. And then they spin around, and their planet carrier is that circular ring down there. And I believe it is, yeah, so that planet carrier is attached directly to the output shaft. So it's a two-stage planetary gear system. I'm not going to go any deeper into planetary gears. If you want to see more, I will put a link to this Wikipedia page down below, and it should explain how you can figure out the math of the ratios and whatnot. But I'm not going to go through all that math. You can do it on your own time if you wish to. This is not really a mechanical channel. I am, of course, going to save all those gears. They may come in handy, probably not. I'll definitely save that motor because motors are always useful. Should we look at this other one and see if it is just as bad inside? This one is 3.6 volts, so at 1.2 volts per battery, I would expect that it has 3 probably NiCad cells in it. I'd be surprised if it was anything else. So again, one screw on the handle. Pry that open, and yeah, it's trapped up here. But this time, instead of a roll pin, there is just this little clip here. Wait, it's kind of a U-shaped clip. So that, come on, goes through there. Come on, get out, get out. Like that. There's a U-shaped clip that pokes through, and that holds, again, the planetary gear head to the rest of the motor. There's the little sun gear again. One difference with this one, it has this little torque selector ring thing up at the front, so maybe we'll look at that for as much as we want to go into mechanical stuff. First though, let's go into the handle and see what we find. Yep, as predicted, 3 little batteries, the same switch arrangement, the same motor, which I shall salvage for later, and that. These ones, do they say anything about them? No, again, nothing on there. And again, with the age of them, I'm going to guess that they're not going to recharge. I could put some nickel metal hydrides in there, I suppose. Actually, at 3.6 volts, hang on. 3.6 is close enough to lithium-ion battery territory, isn't it? Oh, wait, yeah, okay. So maybe I will do something with this one. Just give me a minute to think about this. I may actually do something with this one. Let's just... All right, components gathered. I have my lithium-ion charger bucket here. I think I'm going to try one of these new ones that can charge 2 batteries. These showed up in the most recent mailbag. They've got a USB Type-C on this side, and they can charge 2 batteries in parallel. The batteries don't connect to each other in any way through this circuit. The 2 circuits are completely isolated from each other. So in order to not have the batteries, which are in parallel, or which are going to be in parallel to power the motor, in order to have them not short out, I'm going to grab a couple of 1N4001 diodes, which are going to be stout enough, and actually they're probably the same diode that is, where is it? On the charging thing here. Probably could reuse that. Nah, not going to. The batteries I'm using are, of course, salvaged from street lithium, aka vapes I've found discarded on the sidewalk. These two are both 2.9 watt hours. They are some of the larger ones that I've got, so I'm going to use those. Right, let's take a break from the action for just a moment. I've got the batteries soldered onto the charge board. I've got a couple of diodes coming off the positive leads. I verified, you may have seen in the time lapse, I verified that the two negative leads of this charge board are in parallel. So I'm using one of them, one of the pads for both negatives from the batteries, and the other pad for the negative going to the motor. And now we have 4.13 on one of the batteries and 4.087 on the other battery. Coming off the diode, we have 3.82 there, 3.86 there, accounting for the battery voltage drop. And if we plug in a USB-C lead here, we get lights on both of those, and I'm hoping that we get a little bit higher voltage. Yep, 4.1, 4.14, so they're both charging. What this means is I should theoretically, once these batteries are charged up to the same voltage, I should be able to connect these two diodes together and connect them to the motor positive lead, and then everything should just work. So I will take a pause for a moment while the batteries charge up, and we'll come back in a bit. All right, time has passed and these batteries are close enough for me to carry on. 4161, 4166. Let's charge it enough, and we'll put the meter out of the way. And at this point, I will just combine those two diodes, throw some heat shrink on, and connect it up to the motor, or to the switch here, I guess. There, just a bit of heat shrink to make it all safe-ish and neatish. Now, just to mount everything in here. Those will sit in the original places where the original batteries sat. There's little divots there and there to hold them, so that won't be an issue. That goes on like that. And those wires go back that way so that those can sit in their spots. Actually, before I put this back together, let's just make sure that this works. And the other way. There we go. That works just dandy. Now the only thing left to do is all this mechanical stuff, which is going to be awkward, so I'll probably go back into time-lapse mode for that and hope for the best. Perfect. Let's get some bits for this thing. Just take any, yeah. Ooh, needs longer shaft ones. How about that one? Needs the really long shaft ones, but it does the job. Cool. And it is USB rechargeable on the back here. So that is pretty nice. I think that one is, should we say revived, repaired, functional? I think so. Now, of course, with the lithium-ion cells, it's not going to be nearly as long-lived, I guess, as these things. Probably. I don't think they have. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But we don't need the wall charger, which this isn't the right one anyway. I don't know where the screwdriver that belongs to this is, and I don't know where the charger that belongs to these things is. But regardless, it doesn't matter. I don't need that charger anymore. Well, I hope that little bit of chaos was somewhat interesting. And I'm sure somebody in the comments is going to tell me how I need different battery management on there. I know. I'm just using what I got lying around to repair something that otherwise would have gone in the scrap. I'm sure there's a better way of doing it. I'm sure you're going to tell me. Please do. But for everybody else, hope that was enjoyable. Thanks for watching. As always, questions or comments down below in the comment section. I will talk to you later.